Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I just wanted to bring you a video covering the sandworm. I noticed there's not a lot of comprehensive guides going over it, such as setting up the group, the mechanics and everything. So I wanted to bring you a video going over the comp that we've been running on Rosa for our group. We just recently started about 2 weeks ago and we've been getting clears and it feels great. It's nice, our group started with a lot of people that hadn't cleared it at all, so it's a lot of learning, but it's been a lot of fun. So I hope this guide can be helpful to you. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, now I want to get into the trophies you should be using and the consumes. I'm just going to show them on screen, but you should have 3 of Major Angry Earth and 3 of the Beast. And then for your consumables, it's the normal health pots, acid tinctures for when you get burned, regen serums, hardy meals, and then your coatings are going to be Beast. Your ward's going to be Beast. If you're melee, you could use Angry Earth ward if you want, but you don't really have to. And then you're going to want powerful incense for the acid burn. All right, now we're going to go over the actual team comp itself. So starting, you're going to have 4 lights, and out of those lights, usually it's 2 muskets, 2 bows. You don't have to have 2 muskets, but that's kind of fallen into favor just because the musket is so incredibly good at destroying the acid balls. Usually they will be on lights 1 and 4. But again, if you want more bows, feel free, whatever. And then you're going to have 11 rapier players. Now, out of this 11, 2 are going to be flurry and finish for popping bleeds, and 9 are going to be evade. And out of those 9, you're going to have 1 of them being an off tank. Usually using IG, but they can kind of use whatever they prefer. And then for the rapiers, you have to have Omni Evade and Legion Flurry on the clothing. You have to do that just for the damage. You really can't run it without it. All right, now we'll cover the more niche roles. So first of all, you're going to have 2 healers. One's going to be on VG and one's going to be on Flail. They are mainly going to be using the Flail and the VG. They're not going to be on the life staff too much. Basically, one of them is just going to drop their AoE heals. Preferably the Flail, but it doesn't really matter. Drop their AoEs and then they're going to switch back to their other weapon. The only time they're really going to be healing a lot is during ad phase. That's a little more important because sometimes if the ads aren't killed quick enough, they can be kind of an issue. And then during Scorpion phase, you're going to drop a sacred and stuff for the tank, throw a beacon on him, whatever. And then Stam Phase is a huge one for the healing. You really can't do this method without a healer. If both healers are dead, it's basically a wipe. Moving on to the spear, you're going to have someone running spear with skewer and a finisher as their offhand. And if you find you're not running or you don't have enough damage to phase quick enough, you can always swap the spear to a sundering javelin on the clothing for some more rend. Next, you're going to have a SNS greatsword user. It's the butcher build. If anybody knows what that is, it's the butcher build. And they're going to run greatsword offhand, and they're going to be the one applying the greatsword rend. And then finally is a Rend bot. Warhammer Sind is the usual. They need clear out on the hammer and they need shockwave on the clothing. All right, another very important piece of this whole thing is going to be your Heartrune, and then you're going to be wanting to run the stalwart Heartrune of Firestorm. Now you don't need to have everybody running this. I would say you need at least the bare minimum is 7. But ideally, the most people that could have it, I would just have that many people run it. It's good for reviving. You need it for the Stam Phase. You need it for the swipes and stuff. So it's always good to just have them. You're not min-maxing, you're not speed running, so the vines and all that, you don't really need it all that much. So as many people as you can get to have kick, I would look into that. While we are on the topic of kicks, I do want to bring up the fact that you're going to want kick orders. So you're going to want 1 kick for siege, you want to have 2 set up for swipes, just in case you get swiped twice during your phases. Generally you'll have extra, so if you get swiped more than twice, whatever, and you need it, you can have somebody else kick. But generally you want the siege setup and then 2 swipes. And you also want at least 5 to 6 setup for Stam Phase. Usually you only need about 4, but it's always good to be prepared in case, something goes wrong or people are dead and it's going to take a little longer to get through Stam Phase. So yeah, you're going to want 3 for siege and swipe, and then 5 for the Stam Phases. You're also going to want to have a dedicated backup lights player. So if somebody goes down, you can say, lights 2 down, and then somebody else knows that they should be going up. If more lights go down throughout it, you just kind of have to work around it and just tell somebody to go, but at least have 1 backup for sure. All right, so the final thing I want to cover as far as setup goes is your groups. This is actually a group that I have set up for tonight to run. But you'll see the group 1, 2, 3, and 4 at the top. Now, how I like to order it, we have groups 1 and 3 go right side, 2 and 4 go left. So how I do it is you want to make sure you have a tank and an off tank in each group. So you see group 1 and group 2. There's an off tank in Sim, and Toad is me. I'm the main tank. And then 1 F and F in each group with Bebop and Shep. And then we have more rapiers with me. But if you look at group 3, we also have the healer there in med, and then pink is the other healer on the other side. Red and Doodoo are the spear and Rendbot, and they are split. So we have Rends on both sides. It's just good to have one of each like off roll on each side, just to make sure your bases are covered in each group. One other thing I do want to mention really quick is if you start doing the worm and you plan on doing it quite a bit, or if you like doing Hive, I'll link it down below, but you should check out Raid Helper. It's a super useful tool for any Discord that is, you know, people just sign up and they sign up in their roles, and it makes everything so much easier. But I'll link it down below, and then you can figure that out. It's free for like 2 weeks, and then it's like $10 for 3 months or something, but I'll link it down below. Okay, now that the setup's out of the way, let's get into what happens once you actually load in. So once you load in, so the people that are in the first kick orders are going to want to charge their Heartrune. The fastest way to do this is to just pull out a life staff and have I'll have a picture of it, the mending touch perk unlocked on it, and you can just heavy attack through your teammates and it'll charge it super fast. Much quicker than going down and just autoing the golden boy. So go ahead and charge up your Heartrune. And another thing, wait till everybody is ready to buff up. I can't express this enough. You get in, you buff up, and then one guy's like, okay, I got to leave for 5 minutes. And now you've just wasted time. So just wait till everybody is ready to do that. Now, to be able to look at your own lights, you're going to need to go to the game menu, go to settings. You're going to need to scroll down to tilt. Wait, hold on, where's it at? Oh, it's right here. Tilt base zoomed. You need to turn this on. Without this on, you will not be able to see it. Yeah, so you have to have this setting on. All right, now here's going to be a small clip of us actually starting the fight. So I'm on lights 1 over here, and all the way across, kind of by night, is lights 4. You can see we looked at our own lights. We got our buff. We're going to jump down. And all the lights are going to want to grab the sword. It's just extra damage, basically. You only get this the first time you enter, too. There's not going to be a golden boy at any other time. So this is just free damage right here. So make sure the lights hop down and get it. You have plenty of time to go grab it. The next thing I'm going to show you is basically the same thing that just happened, except from the melee point of view. So we got lights, we killed the sword bearer, and we picked it up. And now we're hitting the drums. You need 3 people to bong the drums so to actually start the encounter. So once you hit the drums, you're gonna wait. You'll see the door open, and if you're a rapier, it's best to count. I usually, once the door opens, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I riposte. I had the wrong weapon out, so I didn't hit it there. But it's good to riposte that if you can, just for more damage, I suppose. And then here's where the siege kick comes into play. You saw the kick come through there. They didn't necessarily do that correctly. You're supposed to dodge backwards and kick through the team, but I think whoever was assigned it just didn't do it, so somebody else did it. All right, next we're gonna go over the beginning of the fight. So once the doors are opening, this is him first coming out. So the DPS is already going to be doing their things, applying Rends, weekends, flurries, going to town, whatever. Now this is the top POV. So always he's going to growl right there, and then he's going to do acid balls. This is every single time. So lights 4, 1, whoever should be looking up to hit them. Usually it is the muskets, and then he's always going to do one attack. He's either going to do the spits right here, he's going to lick, or he's going to swipe. Usually the lick is the one you want because it's the safest to get lights on, but if it spits, wait for 3 spits and then go to lights and tell people to hop on, look at them, get the buff. You'll see the buff hop out right there, shield breaker. That means you got lights successfully. One other important thing to note about the spits is that if he's spitting at lights 1, he'll also be hitting 2, and if he's spitting at 3, he'll also be hitting 4. So there's 2 people that have to watch out. Generally, 1 and 2 are going to be spit at the most because the tank has aggro. But yeah, that's just something to note that you will have to be dodging the spits. I'll roll this footage again so you can see it. You listen to the audio cue. When he spits, you can basically dodge almost as soon as it leaves his mouth and he makes the noise, but I'll let you see it. All right, then one of the other attacks that could possibly happen, this is going to be the lick. This does not affect the lights or the melee, so you don't have to worry about this one when it happens, but the tank will get a symbol above his head, and he just needs to move away from his light to make sure he's not standing on it. All right, then the final attack and the most deadly one is the swipe. This is the one that actually affects the melee clump and not the lights at all. You have to have this called out every time, and the caller should preferably be on lights just because they can kind of see him curl before he makes the noise. And that's an indication that he's going to swipe. So it's kind of easier, a little bit faster to call it out. But when swipe or block is called, the melee need to block and look in a certain direction. I'll post a video from a melee perspective, and I'll post a graph from a different spot because I don't look where most people look, I guess. I look where I'm comfortable. But I'll post both things just so. Now that all the attacks are out of the way, let's go into calling lights more. So you're going to call lights initially when you get down there after the first attack. And then after that, it's kind of dependent on your DPS more or less. Generally, you'll call it for the first one if your DPS is decent. Once you get down to once you get 2 bars down, I generally call it again, because the buff does last a good while. So you only have another set of ads to come in and kill him, and then he's gonna phase once he gets to 3 bars down, 70%. But it's kind of dependent on your damage. Ads coming in, ads coming in. All right, the sound cue I just showed you, that's the noise for ads spawning. He looks out, he growls, that's the noise. So if you do not currently have lights when he makes that noise, you need to immediately try to get them if it's safe. And I will say, if your DPS is feeling low and you feel like you're getting a set of ads to spawn right before he does the first phase, check your Rends. Make sure all your Rends are good. You should be at 140%. 70% is max cap, but he has a 50% resistance, so you need to be reaching 140% to actually be at max Rend. Another thing I want to talk about is if the lights calls are late, for whatever reason you can't step on, you need to step off the lights and you don't have them when the ads are spawning, just have the off tank try to kite them around. During the first phase, there is no wide swipe, so that the off tank can kind of do whatever he wants out in the open. He can just run them around in a circle. So just kite him around, wait for the lights to get, and then bring him into the clump and let him die. But yeah, so the golden boys are going to spawn. Once ads come up, they're going to come into the clump, kill him, pick up the sword again, just like when you did in the beginning. Pick up the sword for the extra damage, and then all of the lights should be killing the scorpions unless you're a tank. If you're the tank, you should be focusing the boss still just for aggro reasons. And make sure you're killing the djinns if they spawn. They don't always spawn, but when they do, you need to make sure you kill them quick. They are the only thing in here that thirsts when somebody's down, so if somebody gets knocked, the djinns will actually full kill them when they are knocked. So they need to die immediately. And then for the boss's health bar, once he gets below 70%, 40%, and 10%, he will phase. This is starting the next transition into Scorpion Phase, and we can explain that now. All right, so once he phases, Lights is going to need to jump down because he's going to put an acid cloud up top, so everybody up top needs to come down. And like I said, 1 and 3 goes right, 2 and 4 goes left. You can obviously change that to however you like it, but that's just how I do it. And then once everybody jumps down, you need to be clumped tight in front of the cave. As soon as he spawns, start hitting him. The key to this is to not move until he gets to your group. You can see that sometimes you'll get chomped first, sometimes he chomps the other side. Whichever side he hits first needs to move. Your first move should be forward towards the cave, and then after that, you're going to go up towards the wall. And while pathing is very important on this part, it's also very important that the DPS try to stay together. The off tank is going to hold aggro. The DPS need to try to stay together as much as possible. If you have one person with a bow behind you, behind the tank or something, and he chomps there, it's just going to mess up the whole pathing. Obviously, if everybody's alive, there's a 5% chance that he bites you, and it could literally just kill a run because you were mispositioned. So just try to stay with all of the DPS close, in a relative close position. All right, then once your side is dead, if your right side kills first, help the left side and vice versa. And once both scorpions are finally die, if the worm is in the middle of a chomp, as the last scorpion is dying, make sure you do not go up yet. Stay down for one more. Your caller should be saying, wait one more, waiting to go up, because if you go up too early on lights, you're just going to die to acid. So you always wait for the one more. You can go up while it's chomping, but if you go up too early, you're just going to get burned. So let it chomp one more, then go up, and you need to get lights immediately. And all the great swords and the healer should be down in position, ready to stand break. All right, and then as you're going up for the stand break and for lights, make sure to hit a regen. It's always helped for the nice health regen, because you are going to be taking from acid, but that's where the kick comes in. Once you go up there, you're going to hear a ding. Usually you'll hear the lights first, but then shortly after you'll hear a ding. That's when kick starts, and it's just going to be kick 1, kick 2, kick 3. It's not going to be super fast, but it's just like a smooth, flow of kicks coming in to cleanse the acid, because you get burned really fast. And then once the stam is broken, he's going to fall down, and scorpions are going to come in. Just go ahead and kill him. Stay tight to the boss, because sometimes he will do a wide swipe right after, so there's no need to run out. Just stay close to the boss afterwards. All right, then after Stam Phase and you kill the ads coming in, it's kind of more the same with this phase. Nothing changes. Usually what I like to do, if I'm the caller or if I'm on lights, I like to get lights as soon as the boss does his next attack after he's stammed. Even though you just had lights right before the Stam Phase, the ads do spawn fairly quick. So I like to call for lights basically after the first attack. If he does a lick or spit, whatever it is, I will, call for lights. And then it's more of the same. The only thing that changes in phase 2 with this boss is he adds another attack, which is a wide swipe. This is a whole different sound cue that you can listen for, but this does not affect anybody. White swipe, you're good. With this method, because you're all clumped up type, you don't have a healer out wide, you don't have anybody holding a golden boy or anything, so this is not going to affect anybody for phase 2. All right, and then it's more of the same until you get to 40% health left, and then the boss will phase again. So once again, lights are going to have to jump down because of the acid clouds, and you know, whatever side your groups are going to, make sure you tell them where to go. And then Scorpion Phase is going to spawn, and for this Scorpion Phase, nothing changes. It is exactly the same as the first time. So once again, make sure your pathing is correct when you're kiting them up. Make sure the DPS are staying together. You know, if any lights or any lights healers go down, we need to know. And more importantly, if you go for reses by acid, make sure you have a kick available for when that person gets up, just so you're not griefing them and farming them. All right, and once you successfully pass Scorpions, during this phase, there's going to be a new mechanic added called mining. Now, once this boss is stand broken, I'll show you 2 different clips. There's a chance you skip mines. It is random. So if you stand break the boss, he'll fall down. And if he gets back up and falls down again, that means you skipped mines. Now, if he falls down and gets back up and then goes back under the ground, that means mines are going to pop out. All right, lights down. Watch Scorpions coming in. We skipped mining phase, quit mining phase. Try to get lights 2 up if you can. Okay, so if you skip mines there after the stand break, that's great. It's just free DPS. But if he throws mines out, you need to wait. There's a chance that he does a wide swipe, and if you don't know how to dodge it, you will get hit going out to mine. So wait, see if he swipes. If he goes down immediately and does acid, then you're free to go. You don't have to worry about it, but you do need to wait for it. Okay, and once it's safe to go out and mine, there's a cool little feature with them where sometimes you can't actually mine it. So if you just go into your inventory and go out, usually that'll fix it. You can try hitting a pot too, if it doesn't work. But all the evades should be going out to farm them, or mine them rather. And if you see somebody running there and it's already good, just go back to the boss and start hitting it. But it is mainly an evade job. All the off rolls should just be staying on the boss. I do want to add that if a mine is thrown up top by the lights, you can shoot the acid that spawns right afterwards before grabbing it, and it won't go off. So you do have time up top to grab it still. So don't worry about that too much. And if you do see one that's going to explode, make sure you call it out, and everybody should be taking a regen serum or pot right afterwards just for the health regen. Usually 2 is fine. You can survive if 2 go off, but 3 is usually death. If you skip the first mining phase, you will only have 2, but if you don't skip the first one, you will have 3 different sets of mines that come out during this phase. So other than the mines, it's, you know, calling lights per usual every couple attacks, or when it's safe, whenever he does a lick, that's the safest time to ever call it. So just go ahead and rebuff. But it's more of the same there. And then honestly, after that, you're going to go into the Scorpion phase and it's going to be the same thing. Nothing's going to change in phase 3 for the Scorpions. It's more of just path correctly. Everybody stay together and get the kills. So after this Stam Phase, there is a chance that he does mines again. So again, if he falls down after the stand break and then falls down again, you skipped mines. If he doesn't, you have to wait for the wide swipe and then go out and mine if it happens. Get the mines and then it's basically GG. He's 10% health and you just have to get lights, do the normal stuff to kill him. And that's the whole fight basically. I just want to say thanks everybody for watching if you made it this far. I forgot to plug it earlier, but I do stream over on Twitch from 10 p.m. Eastern till 2 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. So feel free to check it out if you'd like. But I hope you enjoyed the video and have a good day. Ads are going to be coming in. Swipe, 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 swipe. Please. Yes. Thank you.